Introduction to money.
What is money? Definition: a current medium of exchange in form of coins and banknotes, or coins and banknotes collectively. Why is money important? Money is important because it helps us live a good life by money paying for our education, healthcare, and supporting and achieving our dreams and goals.
So here we have some different types of money around the world. First, we have the US dollar, then we have Philippine pesos, European money, and Canadian dollars, and Japanese money.
Online money versus paper money. Online money is any money is distributed using devices such as smartphones.
In this video, this will be a long video, so make sure to pay attention because we're going to ask some questions.
If you're like most teenagers, you've probably spent a lot of time in places like these. In fact, if you spend any more time here, they'd give you a red visor and put you to work. We've all spent a lot of money here, over $110 billion each and every year. We need money for things we can't survive without, like burgers, iTunes, Xbox, and cool apps.
I'll have the cheeseburger.
I'm gonna have the bacon though.
Good thing we have money from our jobs or our parents.
Yeah, let's get fries.
But you've probably never wondered why our money is worth what it's worth or where it came from, right?
It says legal tender.
Where?
Legal tender.
Legal tender. What does that mean? We'll get to that later. Hi. You know, this world of ours has always been a world of money, but not necessarily money as we know it today. So what did people use before they used this?
What did they use before there was coin and paper? Well,
It was just pieces of gold and silver, wasn't it? Maybe gold or silver, like actual gold or silver.
precious metals, before that, bartering, I would say.
Bartering. They bartered.
Well, trade, maybe. Skills.
Yeah. Sold. Right.
Tokens or like stone tablets.
Any sort of livestock property, any valuables that they had. Animals.
Chicken, cows.
Sheep?
Beavers were especially expensive. Cattle were traded for beef.
Women.
This is not opinion, this is fact.
Exactly. Plus things like seashells, fish, tobacco, and yeah, you heard right, salt. Did you know in ancient times Roman soldiers were actually paid in salt? In fact, that's why we have the word salary. It comes from the word salt. So how did we get from seashells and salt to bills and Benjamins? These guys belong to an African tribe called Maasai. Doesn't look like they carry much cash, does it? Well, that's because their money walks on 4 legs. The success of a Maasai family isn't measured by bucks or bling, but by those cows and goats. The most important job for a young Maasai boy is to manage his family's wealth, their animals. Imagine walking that herd into a Best Buy. But back in the day, and I mean way back in the day, everybody did this. Cultures the world over had animals and crops to trade with each other, and that's what made the economy work. The simplest form of trade is barter. For instance, you have a cow, but you want a couple of sheep. So you find someone with a sheep who wants a cow. You trade, you're happy, done deal. People bartered their animals or anything of value, food or cloth or building materials or even the labor to build a house. A more complicated trade would be to use a medium of exchange. This was usually something very common which was used or traded as if it were money. For many cultures, a good medium of exchange was farm animals. Hakim and his brother traded cattle for some sheep. Now they're taking the sheep to market to trade for some supplies. Their sheep are their medium of exchange. They're portable, but not that portable. When Hakim finds what he wants at the market, he'll negotiate a price with the seller. Give and take in the marketplace always determines the price. Hakim decides to buy a couple of bags of flour. They agree on a price of half a sheep. Now what? He's either going to have to take more flour than he wants, or things are going to get really messy. What about buying something much more expensive? Besides not wanting to saw up sheep, it would take an entire farm to buy a Ferrari. And it's hard to bring a farm to the showroom. Fortunately for us, we have something more portable and less smelly than sheep. And it's easier to make change. We have money. So whom do we have to thank for this great invention? Who came up with the idea of portable money? The Lydians. And it wasn't the Lydian rulers who invented it. It was the buyers and sellers in the marketplace. Back in 560 BC, merchants and traders in Lydia, which is now part of Turkey, carried chunks of metal called electrum. Electrum was a naturally occurring mixture of gold and silver, and it had value. Merchants could use pieces of it to buy things, though they'd have to shave off some of their hunk if it was too big, or add shavings if it was too small. Instead of passing around shavings and hunks, traders agreed on small, standard amounts of metal to use in buying things. Coins. And that was a major deal. You didn't have to barter your cow or trade 50 shavings for a chunk. You could swap the sheep for a pocket full of coins and use them to buy anything you needed. All of a sudden, coins became the medium of exchange. Countries throughout the Mediterranean began to trade with each other and markets grew. The Lydians' great invention, money, became something that could build an empire. And the ancient Greeks were all over that action. Do you know what the centerpiece of an ancient Greek city was? The mall, of course. Greeks called theirs the agora, the marketplace, and everyone from all kinds of countries wanted to shop there. They still do today. The Greeks used money to build an empire on trade and commerce. In fact, Greek became the language of commerce. Commerce means profit, and profit means cash to build fabulous things like temples, stadiums, and theaters. Amazing stuff that can still be seen today. Never before in history had so many people had so much wealth. And when you're making serious bucks like that, you're bound to have a rich social life. The Greeks made great art and theater, ruled at sports, and pretty much invented philosophy and politics. For 400 years, Greek culture and civilization flourished, all because of the monetary and mercantile revolution it had created. Money in the marketplace was such a great deal, governments just couldn't resist getting involved. Enter the Romans. Rome became the world's first empire based on money. Roman Empire spread commerce through most of southern and western Europe, all the way to England. Rome's achievements became the envy of the civilized world, and it lasted for almost 1,000 years, about half of which was a time of relative peace and free enterprise, when people had low taxes and private property. You can still see the remnants of Rome's glory today. Here at the Trevi Fountain, about 3,000 people a day toss coins in for good luck. Check this out. These are the ruins of Ostia Antica, a city outside of Rome founded in the 8th century BC. About 100,000 people lived here. Here's what's left of the main street: the amphitheater, the public baths, and the many buildings that once stood here. This single-family house had central heating, running water, and under these stairs, even a guest toilet with a marble seat. Amazing!
Okay, we can never.
Over 2,000 years old. When the Roman Republic gave way to dictators called emperors around the 1st century BC, it all went south. The emperors liked to blow money on big parties and crazy extravagant events. So they created a system in which wealth was taxed and redistributed. Within 100 years, about a third of all Romans were collecting what we now call welfare. This is the pinnacle of Roman extravagance and decadence, the Colosseum. It could hold as many people as Yankee Stadium. About 50,000 rowdy Romans could cram in here to watch wild animal hunting, mock battles, and even executions. Outside today, it's all fun and games.
Okay, perfect.
But if you were a gladiator about to go through these gates into battle, not so much fun. It was a terrible and bloody form of entertainment. Each emperor needed more and more money, so they cranked out more and more coins, replacing gold and silver with cheap metal. The emperors were inflating their money. The price of everything skyrocketed. Rome had become the biggest state-controlled economy the world had ever seen. As Rome declined, most of its emperors died violent deaths. Finally, Rome was sacked and destroyed by the Visigoths, a Germanic tribe from the north. It was all over for the Romans. And with the death of Rome, the world plunged into what would be called the Dark Ages. After 1,000 years of using coins in markets and cities, people went back to rural life. Nobody trusted money, so virtually nobody used it. Widespread trade almost stopped, and once again, barter was the way to go. Then, 600 years later, money reappeared in what might seem a most unlikely place. Gold or silver never played much of a role in China. The all-powerful government just issued simple tokens with no value made of brass or copper, usually known as cash. They had a square hole in the middle so that up to hundreds could be strung together. They were worn around the waist and could get super heavy. Probably easier just to draw a picture of the money, right? After all, the tokens were just that, a symbol, like a voucher. And a single drawing could stand for 1,000 or even 10,000 coins. Paper money, invented, controlled, and printed by the Chinese government. Of course, today, everyone prints paper money. Governments have declared that the money they print is legal tender, which means that buyers and sellers have no choice but to use it. And for better or worse, governments control it. In the United States, we print our money on presses that run 24/7 in Washington, D.C., right here at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, at the direction of the Federal Reserve. And we print lots of it, hundreds of millions of dollars in currency each and every day.
Whoa, that's a lot of money.
Man, I wish I had a phone like that.
Yeah, because all your phone can do is text.
Oh, you're so funny.
With the presses pumping out all that money, why are some things more expensive than others? Put another way, what determines prices? Let's ask someone who knows a lot about prices. Lawrence Reed is an economist. He's president of the Foundation for Economic Education.
It's pretty simple, really. Prices help buyers and sellers recognize the scarcity of goods and services and make decisions about buying and selling. For example, everybody wants a new smartphone, but while supplies are low and demand is high, they're very expensive. You as the buyer have to make a decision, buy one or to make do with what you've got. Innovation and increased productivity mean computers, cell phones, and cameras are cheaper today than yesterday and will likely be cheaper tomorrow.
So our cell phones, iPods, and Xboxes will get better and cheaper too. But overall, prices have been rising for years. Take a look at this. If you could pay the old prices for all this stuff, the money you would have would buy a lot of it. Your money would be worth more. But when we say prices have been rising, that's another way of saying the value of money has gone down. Money used to be based on the gold standard. Governments stockpiled gold to support the value of their money. In the US, thousands of bars of gold were once stashed here at Fort Knox, Kentucky. There's still some gold here, but not enough to back the money we print.
Governments came to dislike gold because they couldn't print it. They had to show restraint, and governments don't like restraint. So rather than simply spending what they have or what they can get through taxing and borrowing, they manufacture more of it. And a lot of that is done right here at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. It's tough to print gold, but but you can print a lot of paper.
Remember what happened when the Roman emperors reduced the gold and silver in their coins? They inflated their currency. Today, if governments print all the money they want and spend it at today's prices, the result is the same.
See, the increased supply of money forces prices up. When prices rise, your money buys less today and will buy even less tomorrow. Governments, in effect, are taxing their citizens, who will have to pay those higher prices in the future. Whether it's printing paper money or taking the precious metal out of the coins, as the Romans did, the result is an increase in the supply of money, which produces rising prices.
And when prices spiral out of control, when your dollar buys a lot less than it bought last year or even last month, those higher prices you're paying are the result of inflation. Do you think you'd recognize inflation if you saw it?
Maybe.
What if your meal today cost $50 or $100?
Whoa, no way.
Way? How about $1,000?
Come on.
Well, inflation is a problem, and hyperinflation is a bigger problem. Even in today's electronic world of money, the possibility of inflation is still with us. Prices are still determined in the marketplace. We still use coins and paper, and governments all over the world control money. And it's those governments that can cause inflation. More about that next time. Nice talking with you guys. Whoa! Well, I'm going to take my pay and hit the road.
Importance of learning money for kids. Why should you, kids, learn about money at a young age? Such skills help children understand the difference between earning, saving, and spending money. They can become better money managers who are able to budget. And last, it helps children understand the value of money at a young age and will help with financial decisions now and later in time.
Okay, so here we have the history of paper money. First, we have the 1900s, then we have the 2000s, then the 2019, and the 2020.
Most coins started at 600 BC, and coins now, like pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters, and other types of places.
We jingle and we jangle, you see us all around. In a piggy bank or pocket, or even on the ground. We come in different sizes, we do not look the same. I wonder if you know each of the four of us by name. Four of us by name. I'm a President Lincoln penny, a coin that is worth 1 cent. When you save a lot of us, together we can be well spent. I'm a shiny 5-cent nickel. President Jefferson is who you see. If you give someone 5 pennies, you'll get back 1 of me. We jingle and we jangle, you see us all around. In a piggy bank or pocket, or even on the ground. We come in different sizes, we do not look the same. I wonder if you know each of the four of us by name. I'm a very thin little dime with President Roosevelt's face. If you have 2 nickels or 10 pennies, then they can take my place. I'm a shiny George Washington quarter, the largest coin of the 4. I equal 1 nickel and 2 dimes, worth 25 cents at the store. We jingle and we jangle, you see us all around. In a piggy bank or pocket, or even on the ground. We come in different sizes, we do not look the same. I wonder if you know each of the four of us by name.
Okay, so when was one of the first coins created? You'll get 1 point if you put it inside the chat box. Okay, A, 1459, B, in space, C, 600 BC, or D, 1840. Okay, the answer is C.
What is an example of online money? A, banknotes, B, credit cards, or C, all of the above? Put your answer in the chat. The answer is B.
Why should kids learn about money at a young age? If you get it correct, you get 1 point. A, so they can live a poor life. B, so they can make better decisions with their money in the future. Or C, so they can ask their parents to pay for their taxes. So the correct answer is B.
Where is a better place to save your money? You would get 1 point. A, your piggy bank. B, a bank. C, WFG, or D, under your pillow. Anyways, it's C. So
C. Well, the things we offer. It's okay. It's okay.
Discussion time. Okay, the first question is why do you think we want money? You can unmute yourself or you could type your answer in the chat.
The reason why we want money is because they're like actual money from coins, and they're also their currency just to buy something. Because if we existed without money, then those shops you require some money to buy it, and you have no money, you'll just be poor. But you also gotta be safe. It means you could go to your school. I mean, you could pay for your school or something. You can pay pay it for your needs or wants.
Okay, question 2. If you were given $1 million, what would you do with it?
If I were given $1 million, I would buy some food for the poor people, but also give them a bit of my money.
If I had $1 million, I would want to start my own business and hire employees and just make a successful business.
Good idea. Okay, Sam?
And Lulu said, or I don't know what your name is.
Yeah, go somewhere nice. Yep.
Nice.
I'd definitely do that. Okay, Sam?
I would save like $500,000 of it for later because I'm gonna need it one day. And me and my best friend want to start our very own business one day, so it's kind of like Patrick's answer, but I'm saving like half of it.
Okay,
what I would do is I would go save in the IUL and then donate to charity, and I'd join WFG.
Wow. Okay.
That's great.
Well, the last question is if you were in charge of your own government, what would be your currency? It could be anything. What would you want your currency to be?
Like ducks.
Ducks?
No.
What? Like ducks. They're worth nothing.
Just an option.
Okay, but if you were to set up your own government and for us, our form of money is paper money and coins, what would your currency be? Sam?
I would say anything. Because, anything that you need. Like food, water.
So you pay for the things you need with the thing you
Food
need?
and water. So you're gonna
pay
get
for water with water.
And you're gonna pay with water.
What? People did it back then. They can do it again today.
Are you sure about that?
Okay. Anyone else?
I don't know. I'm just.
Aaron?
Let's see. Maybe probably. Let's see. Probably some tank armor.
Tank?
Tank armor.
Wow.
I'll go do livestock like they did before, because then there would be no inflation. Because, yeah.
Wow.
If I were in charge of my own government and I could pick a currency, I would probably pick like cardboard, because so everyone would have money, because usually when you see homeless people, they usually write on cardboard, stuff like that. So then necessarily not everyone would be poor.